Chris Haney was one of the all-time great closers in DBU baseball history. He was a freshman All-American and a part of 2 teams that went to the NCAA tournament. He's our guest on today's Coming Home. And Chris, I think back on your career, I think the one thing that stands out beyond all the saves is just the raw emotion that you had on the mound, the fierce competitor. Where does that come from?
Yeah, I was, I guess, a really emotional kid growing up. I mean, I wore my emotions on my sleeve, and like you said, I almost hated to lose more than I wanted to win, which is interesting, but it was really cool. Like you said, it gave me an edge. I was always trying to do whatever it takes to win a game, and I think that was a big edge on closing. I think the funny thing about that is Dan Hefner and his staff at DBU really kind of helped me find that edge. When you're doing it, for more selfish reasons, when you're doing it for yourself and you're wanting to win, you want to be the guy. It's baseball, it's a humbling game, and they were able to kind of give me reason behind that. And I think that's what really allowed me to kind of unlock the real emotion instead of the hooting and hollering. You can tell I was an emotional guy, but it was, when you're playing for your team and playing for the overall goal to glorify Christ, it really helped me hone that in and find that competitive edge.
Before we get into what you did on the mound, at the plate, you had some big moments, and you talk about finding a way to win. I think the moment that stands out the most is that 2011 regional against Oklahoma. You come off the bench in a pinch hitter's role to lay down a bunt. Go back through that. What's the story behind that, and what you saw right there that gave you the thought process of, I got a chance to get one down the third baseline right here?
Yeah, well, we had, like I said, a big situation, and there's a DH spot came up, so I had to enter the game, and I'd had some at-bats, and I remember I hadn't had a bat in a while, and I remember walking to the box as the leadoff, and I'm looking at Coach Free to get signs, and I'm kind of looking at him, and he's walking around, clapping, giving me the nod, and I look back, and their third baseman, Garrett Bouchel, is pretty deep. So I'm kind of peeking at him, and I just told myself, I'm going to take 2 or 3 practice swings as hard as I can right now and see if he stays back there. And after about my second or third swing, he stayed back and planted his heel. So stepping in the box, I was like, here comes a bunt right here, and see if it was happening no matter what.
Well, not only do you set the table that produces what turned out to be the game-winning run, but you come on in the 10th inning, you close out that game with a save. You had some big moments on the mound in that tournament. Saves over Oklahoma, TCU, Oral Roberts as well. For you, what stands out as the biggest moment for you on the mound?
The biggest moment, that game against ORU was a big swing game for us, and obviously getting into the Super. But the eighth inning was probably the most key point for our standpoint. We had 2 guys coming to the plate. Chris Elder had already hit a home run in the game, and they had 2 runners on. And we ended up getting 2 punch outs out of it, and then being able to stop that momentum and keep it going into the last inning. And I think that was really big in setting up that final out.
I think a moment that Patriot fans will obviously remember just because of the rivalry, DBU and TCU, and we talk about that raw emotion that you had on the mound. What a moment. I think getting that final out against TCU and seeing the emotion that you had, take us back to that and just what you felt in that ball game and being able to get that final out.
Oh, for sure. I get chills. I get chills thinking about it right now. Like you said earlier, the emotion that TCU, that was a very personal rivalry for us, especially at that time, as I'm sure it still is today. And so being able to go in there, in their house, and be the home team, in the regional, and be able to beat them when they were, considered the team to beat, I think that really helped solidify our set as, we were trying to be big game hunters. I think we knew we were set up to do something special, but I don't think a lot of the people in the, watching at home thought we could pull off Oklahoma and TCU back to back. So we did that. I think that really gave us the reassurance that we needed, that this was happening and this was our year.
What a regional. You win it over Oral Roberts, punch the ticket to the school's first ever Super Regional. It's been some time since that 2011 season. What can you tell us just about the bond that you still have with those guys?
Man, they're great. And like I said, the groundwork was really laid prior. We had the guys in front of us, Austin Knight, Ryan Millard, that group, they were outstanding. And they kind of gave us a pretty solid blueprint on how to build real relationships. And then, of course, you can't give Coach Heath and his staff enough credit when they take the time to care more about you than just a ball player, but as a person. That really allows you to go past the surface level of, this is my coach and these are my friends. They're family. And like you said, they are family. Those guys, 3 of them stood next to me on my wedding day. We have monthly dinners where we go to different people's houses, and it's really cool. Those are definitely lifelong bonds and friendships that we'll keep from those couple of years.
Well, when the game was on the line, there was none better than Chris Haney. He was a guy that you wanted out there Chris is our guest today on Coming Home.